Good morning, everybody. Today on the Gabe and Harrison show, we'll be talking about one of the most forgotten Chinese figures ever, Dong Zhou.
Yes, he was a commonly forgotten Chinese general from the Han Dynasty, and he was very epic.
Yes, he was, Gabe. He was known for living a crazy lifestyle, but before we get into that, we need to go into a bit of history.
Little is known about his early life, but once Zhou reached his 20s, he became a farmer. However, a life devoted to agriculture was not enough for him. He joined a Chinese army to help defeat those who rebelled against the emperor.
He was such a talented soldier that he was given 9,000 rolls of silk for his work. He happily gave this prize to his friends and family. He was considered a charitable and chivalrous youth.
The kind warlord act did not last forever. Eventually, Dong Zhou became the man who stomped rebellions. He wasn't a perfect soldier. He won battles and was promoted. And then he would lose battles and get fired. However, the emperor and his nobles always came back to Dong Zhou.
Meanwhile, in Liuyang, the capital of the Han Dynasty, Emperor Ling had just died. Ling's son, Liu Bang, a boy younger than 10, was now in control of China. He was named Emperor Shao, translating to the young emperor.
Three groups tried to manipulate Emperor Zhou to try and take power from him. One was the eunuchs of Liuyang, who had practically raised the boy. However, the military of Liuyang, led by General He Jin, tried to stand up against the eunuchs. Lastly, Emperor Zhao's many stepmothers attempted to assassinate him or control him. The eunuchs had their soldiers kill General He Jin and escape the city with Shao and his half-brother Liu Zi before his stepmothers could have him killed. Emperor Zhou was a boy, confused and alone with no one except a small army of eunuchs and his half-brother escaping from his home. This is when Dong Zhou returns in our story.
Dong Zhou was on the way to Liuyang to take it back from the eunuchs when he ran into Emperor Shao. Zhou had all the kidnappers killed and took Shao and his brother back to Liuyang. The emperor was now indebted to a warlord.
He took the boy back to Liuyang and began running China himself. Dao Chong was one of the most disrespectful men ever. He slept in the emperor's bed with his maids, he wore his shoes inside the emperor's meeting room, and he even sat upon the throne.
Eventually, supporters of Emperor Shao confronted Zhou. They demanded he show the boy respect. So, Zhou killed the 10-year-old and made his brother Liu Zi the new emperor. Liu Zi was even younger than his brother, and Dong Zhou could easily bully him into doing anything he said.
Despite his unique style of rule, China was united again for a very short time because it was finally under one strong leader.
As rumors of Zhou's reign of terror spread throughout the country, an army was being formed to stand up against him. The leader of this army was the legendary general Sun Jian.
Jian was one of the heroes of the Han Dynasty. His hopes to restore power to the emperor, and he had no intentions of taking the throne for himself. Zhou even offered Jian's son the hand of his daughter in marriage as a way of making peace with Jian. However, Jian refused.
Jian and his army defeated all of Zhou's soldiers and made it to Liuyang. Not long before, Zhou adopted an epic soldier named Lu Bu. Lu Bu was one of the most respected generals who were still considered a child. Zhou sent Bu to take on Jian at the city's eastern gates. Meanwhile, Zhou traveled to the west with a small army to ambush Jian as he fought Bu. As they prepared to fight Jian, Zhou had the entire city evacuated and burned, so Jian would have nothing to take over if he won.
Despite this, Jian defeated both father and son and took the city of Liuyang. However, Lu Bu, Dong Zhou, and the emperor had already escaped. The city was destroyed and Jian knew it was too damaged to hold. His soldiers were so terrified of this gruesome ways Zhou tortured and captured enemies that they were refusing to fight for him. Only a small army remained in Jian's control. He knew that Zhou would kill them all if he did not retreat, so they left, leaving Zhou still in power.
Zhou established a new capital at Chang'an. He began to get revenge on anyone who had crossed him. His son, Lu Bu, defeated what remained of Jian's army, and Zhou made sure his son took many captives. He tortured them personally. Some he burned to death, some he crushed into literal meatballs, and others he would drop into burning oil. He was crazed.
Zhou even made people watch as he tortured his enemies, as a reminder that they should not cross him. Everyone was pretty horrified at this monster.
One of the most terrified of Zhou was his adopted son Lu Bu. It is believed that whenever Zhou would throw a tantrum, he would try to murder the person closest to him. Since Lu Bu was his bodyguard, was usually him. Chow would throw a halberd at Lu Bu randomly anytime he got mad. Luckily, Bu was pretty good at dodging.
Bu eventually fell in love with Chow's favorite mistress, who loved Bu back. They were afraid of their love being discovered, so Bu decided he was going to take action. He called Chow to the palace gate one morning, and Bu was standing there with 12 other men at the cavalry captain Li Zhu.
Su stabbed Chow in the stomach. Chow screamed and begged for Lu Bu to save him.
"This is an imperial order,"
Bu said as he fatally sliced open his father's stomach.
Chow's body was left hanging in the streets with a wick in his stomach that stayed lit for 3 days from all the fat in the warlord's body.
Lu Bu lived another 5 or so years before he was captured and killed by Cao Cao, a supporter of Chow. It is said he spent much of that time fighting and being with Chu's favorite mistress. Because of all the damage Dong Zhou did, China would not be reunited for another several hundred years.
Thank you for watching.
Tune in next week.